Hello, extended essayists. This video is intended to give you a quick introduction to some of the tools we have for researching your extended essay topic. One of the things that differentiates a good extended essay from a not-so-good one is the quality of literature that you use to build and support your argument. The general expectation at this level is that you use primary sources from the academic literature, so you do need to know where to go to find these sources. We're going to pretend today that I'm going to write an extended essay on mung bean germination. Honestly, this makes a better intermediate school science fair project than it does an EE, so don't steal my idea, please. The average student is going to head straight to our favorite search tool, Google. I think we've got a good sense how Google search works. Type the words you want to search for, and then click the links that look interesting to you. You likely know that if you put quote marks around phrases or words, that will insist that they show up exactly like that in their search results, and so you'll see that some of the search results will change. If you're a real Google whiz, you might know that you can use the minus sign to exclude search terms. So this will help me to get away from some of the biology internal assessments that are always done on changing concentrations of salt and mung bean germination. And if you're a real Google expert, you might even know that there's a bunch of commands that you can use, like the file type one, that will allow you to search for specific file types on the web and get directly to a bunch of PDF resources. So there's piles of great stuff about searching in Google, but it's actually only getting you part of the way to doing good research. We have some better tools at our disposal. The first tool I'm going to show you is Google Scholar. To get there, you just go to scholar.google.com. If you want, you can log in with your Google ID from the school, and that'll give you access to a few nice features. There's a couple of great things about Google Scholar. I think the best thing is that all of the search tricks that you learned how to use in Google work exactly the same in Google Scholar. So you can search for only articles that have PDFs available, you can exclude search terms, and it's giving you just a focused in view of the academic literature on this. A couple of other nice things to notice: if you want to look at a specific time frame, for example, you might want to only consider research from, say, the last 20 years, just so that you're not getting search results that are all cluttered with really old studies that might not be interesting or relevant to you. You can do that here. You can search for just the newest research by sorting by date, but most of the time you're probably going to want to stay sorted by relevance. There's also a few nice tools below each of the articles. You can save articles to your library, and you can go to your library later and look and see all the different articles that you've looked at and thought were important. You can also grab citations pretty much instantly in a variety of formats, or you can export to a variety of different programs that you might use. This is one of my favorite things. There's a link that says here cited by 72. So this will actually show you, if you click on it, how which articles have used the source article in their research. So you can see that there are some articles here that seem to be fairly highly cited, and those articles are likely to be the most influential or the most important articles about your topic. You can see here that there's a really, really big article called Role of Salicylic Acid in Plants, cited by 1,700 different articles. This is a really great way to find related topics or related research about your topic. There's also a related articles link, which takes you to some stuff that Google's algorithm has decided is probably important. Maybe it's featuring articles that people who have searched for your article are also searching for. Google doesn't tell us exactly how it figures out what's related and what isn't. If you can get a PDF of the article straight from Google Scholar, that's easy to do. The links are just over here to the right. But this is one of the problems with Google Scholar, is you don't actually get access to everything. So you can see that there's lots of articles here that do have PDFs, but there's some that don't. And you might be tempted to try to go and find this article by clicking on the link, going to the journal page, and then trying to figure out how to buy access to this. If you do this, you're likely to suffer a little bit of sticker shock, because these prices are not good. So I want to strongly discourage you from imagining that you're going to have to go and buy access to articles. If there's an article that you need access to, we have other tools that might get you access to that specific article. And if they don't, talk to your supervisor and we'll see if there's some other way that we can get you access. But you're not going to want to be buying access to articles on these journal sites. The next tool I'm going to show you is JSTOR. JSTOR is similar to Google Scholar in that it provides a direct search of journals and articles. It does have a somewhat more limited selection than Google Scholar, but it's very strong in the humanities. You can actually search in JSTOR without an account, but to access most of the articles that you're going to want, you're going to need to log in. So you click the login button and you're going to log in with a username and password. Don't be tempted to click on looking for your institution because you won't find us under Find My Institution. But you can talk to your supervisor if you don't know our JSTOR login and password. Search works pretty much the way that you'd expect. So I'm just going to do our search again for mung bean germination. And you can see I'm getting about 1,600 search results. JSTOR automatically filters to just content that I can access, so you'll see that for each of these articles I can download the PDF, which is pretty great. So you don't need to go through all the hoops of trying to find PDF copies straight from the publishers. As with Google Scholar, you get these download PDF buttons. You can save to a workspace, although I will make one note. If you're going to save things to your workspace, it'll give you this message that says it's a temporary workspace and will expire in 2 days. This is kind of an odd thing about JSTOR. Although you logged in as Pacific Academy, you can see that it's treating us as a school or as an institutional account, and it still looks like you're not logged in. So what you can do here, if you want to keep your workspace around, is use the login with Google button, and it'll log you in. I'm logged in right now with my Pacific Academy account. It'll log you in. This will keep your workspace around. You can see that you still have access to all the articles that Pacific Academy provides you access to. Searching is great. I usually in JSTOR like to use the advanced search because I think that it gives a pretty nice interface for narrowing down your search results. So here I'm going to search for mung bean and germination, and you can do all of the sorts of logical things. Like I could search for articles that don't talk about salinity. I'm going to search for just content I can access, and then if I want I can even narrow down my research just to look at articles perhaps from journals. I can look for just English articles, I can search by date range, and I can even filter down to just the specific topics that I'm interested in. Because JSTOR provides such a wide variety of topics, you can sometimes get some articles that just aren't really what you're looking for. So I'm going to just search here for biological sciences and botany and agriculture and maybe horticulture as well. And that'll give me some pretty focused articles on mung beans. Again, when you want to cite, JSTOR will automatically format citations for you in, well, I think these are actually the 3 formats that we'd be most likely to use at PA anyways, or you can export your citations. The last tool that I want to show you is called EBSCOHost. To get there, go to PA Today, log in, and go to the library page. The very top link in the quick reference list is EBSCOHost. So you'll want to take note of that username and password because you're going to need to enter it here. And then the next thing that you need to do is figure out which resource you want, and there's a whole bunch of them, but I'll tell you the one you most likely want is Academic Search Premier. This gives you just a wide variety of journals in a bunch of different topics, and it's probably the most useful resource. There is also an option down here to choose all of the resources that we've made available through EBSCOHost, but basically EBSCOHost is just providing an access to all of these different databases. So I'm going to use Academic Search Premier here. And I'm guessing at this point you've got a pretty good idea of how searches work, and they do pretty much all work the same way, thanks to Google. A lot of these search tricks like quotation marks and things have really been standardized. One of the things to realize is that EBSCOHost doesn't automatically restrict to articles that you can get full text for. So you'll want to take a look at this refine results link down the left hand, or refine results area down the left hand side, and you'll want to limit to full text most likely. And that way you get a link right there that you can download full text. And one of the nice things with EBSCOHost is if there's diagrams in the paper, it'll often pull those out and let you take a look at them. And sometimes that's actually the main thing that you need, is to be able to look at either some statistics that they've done or one of the diagrams. So that's a really handy trick in EBSCOHost. Like the other tools, you can save articles to a folder. I don't like this feature quite as much because when you do that, the folder doesn't actually persist. Remember, you're just logged in under one school account. And so as soon as you quit, you're going to lose whatever you've saved in here. So make sure that if you do use EBSCOHost and you're using that folder feature, that before you leave, that you save or email or print or export the articles so that you can take a look at them later. I hope this has been a helpful guide to how to use these various tools. My pro tip, if I'm researching a topic, I will very often start out just in plain old Google, and I'll just do a little bit of light reading. Sometimes these questions and answers are actually really great, but please don't be citing WikiHow or Wikipedia in your extended essay. They're not your primary academic sources. Usually after I've got a sense of my topic, I like to move on from there to Google Scholar and use Google Scholar. Actually, I use it very often to do most of my research. I use it to read abstracts of papers. Sometimes you can get what you need out of the abstract and you don't need to get the full text. But I also find Google Scholar is really great for getting full text of the things that you do need full text for. For the things that aren't available, then I go to JSTOR or I go to EBSCOHost to see if I can find the full text of the article I was looking at in Scholar. That being said, your extended essay supervisor has probably also written some big research papers, and so they might have a different approach that they recommend. So please ask them as you're talking to your supervisor over the next few weeks. Thanks for watching, and happy researching.